All right, while you take that, I mean, there's so many questions here, almost bothering on the same issues, but if I could sum a lot of them up in one, let me attempt. Why should they re-elect the president of your party to lead this country again?
Well, you know, he's running on the evidence of his achievements in office. And there are quite a number of them. He has mentioned some of them on the rostrum since the election have been flagged off. In the areas of, you know, road construction, road works, agriculture that we spoke about, education, transportation, and of course that includes roads.
But do you believe that in spite of all that you've mentioned, this election is also going to be determined by perception, what people feel, what they think, while they go ahead and vote?
Exactly. And one of that will be the question of morality and corruption and as it affects, you know, the fraudulent that is being perpetrated by the presidential so far. Somebody who doesn't have a certificate, impunity and corruption. His opponent is actually more, you know, on the line now for that. You know, that if you own after being head of state, if certificates, schools, education certificate can become an issue, it shows the extent to which probably the country has degenerated. And now hypocritical.
Is it that he doesn't have, or it was not submitted?
Well, look, Chamberlain, you and I went to school. I worked in a number of places, including Vanguard. And you ask me, it's a prerequisite at any point there is a legal aspect, there is a moral aspect, there is the ethical and logical aspect of it. On all counts, it is wrong. He has been contesting elections since 2003. On each of those occasions, he was required to do so. And you kept on. Look, it is so bewildering, you know, because to rectify what he is saying is so simple. So simple and, you know, and makes it so absurd. The attitude that he is taking towards it, and his party is taking towards it. Okay, if your secretary is the army, then ask them to give you.
But this is not
in the first place. Listen, it's even irregular in the first place. Where on earth do you know people which employer, private or public, requires the custody of the original copies of your certificate? Which of them? The original serve the purpose of authentication, after which you then you leave a copy of it. So is it the only? Why must you be the only Nigerian that finds yourself in that kind of position?
But they say this is not. If this is not the first time, I mean, the president has vied against him before. Why didn't that matter come up? Why now?
So that is an excuse.
No,
I'm don't listen.
Just a question. I mean,
at one point, at any point, you expose a wrongdoing, it's okay. You can. If it takes 30 years for you to do so, that is not the issue. It was a wrong in 2003. It's a wrongdoing now, and tomorrow will be a wrongdoing. So it's relevant when such an act is exposed.
Has the VP cleared the air about the controversy surrounding his?
Yes, of course. I mean, look, he went to I don't know what he said about burning what, but he went in his own case. He said it was burnt, right, or something like that. He went to ABU, right, and so you can easily go to ABU and get a copy of it. I'm sure maybe he must have done that, or ABU can give you a letter to whom it is concerned. So and so attended this, got this degree, and give it out. This is the way things are done. You can misplace your original, so it's not a sin, it's not a crime. But then you do, there are procedural, there are conventional ways of, this is the first time I'm going to hear that the original copy of your certificate, you left it with one of your employers. And when it is required, and you've had 11 years when it is, you kept on saying it is with so and so, but see, it's honestly.
Have you heard the comment of?
Just a moment. Is this really an issue for the PDP?
It is. It's morally, it's
you have
perjury, lie.
Just a moment. You have said this is so trivial. I mean,
what is so
this
trivial?
is here we are. We're talking about a former head of state.
Yes.
I mean,
it's above the law.
Just a moment. Who was a major general?
It's above the law.
Just a moment. In the military, just a moment, in the Nigerian military, are we saying that this man attained such a status without presenting his certificate? Is that what we're saying?
It's left for him to prove. it has happened. It could have done it fraudulent. You can go there and get employed under, fraudulent circumstances.
And then it isn't, I mean, for the fourth time is about to contest. That's when the PDP thinks that this is an issue. Because for a lot of people in the APC, they think that your party is clutching at straws.
Well, it's not a question of party. Moral wrongdoing or impunity is not a partisan issue. It's a universally moral and ethical issue. It casts a very terrible light on Nigeria, that the former president of this country cannot produce an evidence of that is required legally. And the more you look at it, the more the inability to do so says that he doesn't have. That is the implication.
Not just...
listen, listen. It's something that can be resolved at the clerical level. Ask the clerical staff at APC to liaise with the army and resolve it.
Just a moment.
You are making a mountain out of it.
Here we are, exactly. So that's what the people in the APC say you're doing, that you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
What do you want them to say?
Just a moment. I mean, because you just said the same thing now, without, as you rightly said, it can be resolved at a clerical level.
Exactly. So why haven't you done that?
Why
don't you do that?
Just a moment. It was you that said they were making a mountain out of
No. That's what I said.
Let me finish.
Don't use my words incorrectly.
Let me land on my question. So what I'm saying is this is not just any individual. As you rightly pointed out, it was a former head of state.
Which makes it more tragic.
But at the same time, it's not just any former head of state.
Yeah.
He was in Nigeria's military.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we saying this? We've spoken to the military. Questions have been put to them, and they say, yes, these certificates are with us.
No, the military never said so. They said it is ruled that the rule is that you have copies and they have copies.
Oh, yes.
They said that is the rule. That is the rule. Nobody said Buhari certificate is with me. What they said is that the normal thing is that they have certain copies and you have your own copies. In this case, this man doesn't have his own copies. And one would have thought that the logical thing to do if you cannot find your own copies is to make a request to that body which keeps other copies. So you are not talking about
just a
the
moment.
mass.
The point I'm trying to make is that they have copies, don't they?
Of
his certificate.
Exactly.
In other words, he does have some certificate with the military. I mean, some proof that he went to school with the military, right?
No.
That is not good enough for the
Until
PDP.
you're able to produce it.
So what do you make of the affidavit he swore?
You don't swear an affidavit that you're look at the absurdity of what is happening. Make an affidavit that my certificate is somewhere. So if it is there, why make an affidavit? Why just don't go there, retrieve it?
Why has this all of a sudden become an issue?
Why shouldn't it become? Why should it be fraud?
Why should it become an issue for the PDP? For the fourth time is running against your candidate.
Exactly. That's what we are saying. It makes it more and more tragic. He's doing it for the first, and he has not seen fit to redress it. Why should a logical person do in the circumstances
shouldn't we be, because I'm happy that we're looking at it this way. I thought this should have been what we should have done when we were talking about corruption. I'm still very particular about that corruption talk. But again, now, shouldn't we be talking about or going the way INEC has advised on this matter, that if you're dissatisfied, approach the courts.
Exactly.
So why is the PDP still waiting until now?
It's going to court. The party is going to court. We have just discussed this, but it's a topical issue. All the papers carried yes, of course, they are going to take that option.
All right, Roberto, thank you for coming on. Mr. Akin Osuntokun is the director of the People's Democratic Party Campaign Council in the Southwest. Thank you for coming on this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, I will be back in just a moment. Please join us again.